Hey, thanks for joining me today. Today, I'm going to start off by talking about the Strawman argument. You know, the thing that happens, someone takes your argument, they twist it like a pretzel before attacking it. Yeah, this is one of the most dishonest ways of conversing. But seriously, folks, the Strawman argument, it's the go-to move for people who can't handle a real debate. It's like they're saying, I can't argue with what you're actually saying, so let me just create this fake version and attack that instead. For example, let's say you're arguing with someone about healthcare, right? You make the point that, we live in the richest country in all of history. Maybe we should have affordable healthcare for everyone. And their response, oh, so you want to turn America into a communist dystopia where all medical decisions are dictated by the government? Come on, it's not what I said. That's a straw man. It's about as subtle as a sledgehammer. Here's the thing, folks. The straw man argument, it's like a bad joke. May get a laugh. It's not funny. It's a cheap trick designed to distract us from real issues. So let's make a pledge. Promise to engage with real arguments that people are making and not waste our time on fake versions that we've created in our own minds. It's time to leave the straw man, scarecrow, out in the fields where they belong. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah. Good coffee. Oh, man. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. We got straw man. Don't straw man. And essentially, what it is you take someone else's argument and you make it the weakest version possible, like it's a straw man, so that when you attack it, it's really easy to beat up, because who couldn't win a fight with a straw man, right? No one. And I find a lot of people do this and they're not even aware they're doing it. I don't even know if that's their intention or if they actually believe this, because most people don't think about anything, right? They hear something and then they just accept that as what it is. I was actually chatting with a friend of mine on the phone yesterday, and we were talking about things, and he mentioned Florida, and then he said, Florida, where, it's a good thing we're not in Florida, because, can't even say you're gay, and, they won't even teach Rosa Parks in the schools. He actually said that. And I said, what? I said, that's the argument that you're making? That in Florida, nobody wants the kids to learn about Rosa Parks? Honestly, that's what you think the argument is? And he was like, I don't know. I was like, well, what do you think a good argument that conservatives would be making in Florida? Because I seriously doubt you could find a single person that's saying that kids shouldn't learn about Rosa Parks. That's how you can deal with the straw man argument. It's a common fallacy. And what happens is people misrepresent their opponent's viewpoint, because it's easy to attack then. And we see this all the time. Well, I want to give you a couple tips on how you can deal with this when it happens. The first thing you can do is clarify what your argument is. And if your opponent or whoever you're chatting with, they misrepresent your argument, just point out that I think maybe you misunderstood what I was saying, because I didn't say that, right? I think maybe you misunderstood. Let me try telling you again. The other thing that you can do is you can call it out. If you suspect someone is doing this straw man argument, just point it out and say something like, "That's not what I said at all. You are totally misrepresenting my position." Refocus the discussion. Okay, so sometimes they'll use this argument and they do it because they're unable to refute your real argument, but chances are they may not even know your real argument. They're in a bubble so much so that all they hear are the straw men. Yeah, it's true. You need to refocus the discussion back to whatever your point is and continue to make your case. Don't get sidetracked. It's really easy with a straw man argument, particularly if it's something outrageous, right? However, it's important to remember it plays into your opponent's hand. Instead, stay focused on your original argument. Don't get sidetracked. Keep calm and rational. So if you get upset, you've lost. You've lost. And if you get upset, it's not even a good conversation. Who wants to have a conversation with someone when they're upset, right? Nobody does. So you want to stay calm and rational. Getting angry or defensive, it makes it easier for them to misrepresent you, okay? So just stick to the facts and don't let their misrepresentation throw you off course. I like just saying, is that a strong argument? Are you making a strong argument for them? And they will say, well, probably not. And then, oh, okay. One thing that you can do is just ask them, what do you think the point that they're trying to make is? And don't give me some ridiculous clown version of it. What do you think the main point they're trying to make is? And that's a way to kind of keep someone in check when they're kind of going off on stuff. Let's say you're debating gun control or something like that, no matter what side you're on. And someone says, yeah, we need more gun control. And then you'd say, the people that are in favor of guns, they just want everyone to have guns and they want children to be murdered and everyone to be shot. That's what they want. The gun people, they want everyone shot. Really? That's what they want? I don't think that that's what they want. And so what you can do is just ask, do you really think that that's what people think? What do you think they would say? And just try to get them to focus on actual points, not made-up points. That's my suggestion for the straw man. We see it all the time. This happens every day. And like I say, a lot of people don't even realize they're doing it. So draw attention to it. That is my suggestion on this Monday. But let's look at what we have today. We talked about the straw man. I want to talk about Twitter removing the legacy blue check marks. I'll give you an update about the Internet Archive that I talked about last week, that lawsuit. I'm going to mention Khanna. He has some news. Perhaps it's exciting, perhaps it's not. I'm going to talk about dating and politics. There's some new studies out about that. And lastly, for good news, I want to hit on pickleball because the weather is getting nicer here. And I want to tell you about some new pickleball that's going on in the world. But now let us get to the first story that we're going to talk about, and that's Twitter. Okay. There we go. Twitter is removing blue ticks. Yeah. Who are the real lords and peasants now? Twitter's removing its quote-unquote legacy verification ticks and replacing them with a new system that allows individuals to obtain verification badge by subscribing to Twitter Blue for $8 or something. The new system aims to democratize the platform but some argue that it creates an elitist class structure. The new system removes accountability and makes it difficult to identify valuable accounts. Additionally, the prioritization algorithm is now based on those who can afford to pay for subscriptions rather than those who are popular or professional. Critics fear this new system will make the problem of fake news on Twitter much worse. Well, that's the critics. And they're probably making a straw man argument here. The people whining about losing the check marks are all the journalists that have been given these blue check marks in the past, but they didn't just have the check mark, they had all kinds of back end things that they could do on Twitter that regular people couldn't do. And it really elevated every single journalist in the country, that they felt special, that they had this blue check mark. And first of all, the check marks aren't blue. They're actually white with a blue background. I don't know why we call them blue checks. That does bother me a little bit. Literal Tom here. But yeah, all of you fake news journalists, if you want to keep your little check mark, you're going to have to cough up $8 a month. No big deal, and you could probably write it off. The real issue that the journalists have is now everyone gets to enjoy all the benefits that they had for so long. Talk about democratizing it. That's what this is. They will not get the special treatment that they have had for the past decade. And as far as making Twitter better or worse, I think the less, generally speaking, not elevating journalists to the top of everyone's feed, probably a good start to making it better. That's my opinion. Also, if they elevate people that pay for accounts and not people that don't, well, then people with 10,000 bots that are trying to control the narrative, they're going to have to cough up a lot of money to do it. And it may just not be worth it for each troll account to be paying $8 a month. So I think that there will be a lot less trolls, a lot less bots, and it will be a better experience for everyone. Now, I'm not a real big Twitter person. I have Twitter just so people can contact me. I do tweet out the videos that I make. The Twitter doesn't really work for my brain. It's hard for me to follow some of the conversations. They seem to be all over the place. But I guess it's good for, I don't know, short attention span people. I guess then it works. Anyway, that's Twitter. That's what they're doing. I think it's going to make things better. I think that the biggest problem, one of the huge problems in news, in journalism today, is this system where certain people get special rewards, like Twitter, check, verification marks, and other people don't. And if you say the wrong thing, in the past, they would take your verification away. And so it was a way to really control journalists. Really was. So I think that this will be better for the platform. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And let's get to story number 3. Okay, the Internet Archive. I did a story about this last week. And federal judge has ruled in favor of 4 book publishers who sued the Internet Archive for mass copyright infringement after it lent digital copies of copyrighted books without permission. The case centers on a national emergency library, a temporary online collection created in 2020, that allowed readers to borrow digital books while brick-and-mortar libraries were closed during the lockdowns. Internet Archive argued that the online library was legal under the doctrine of fair use, but the judge disagreed and said established law was on the side of the publishers. The Internet Archive's plans to appeal this ruling. So now that I understand this a little bit better, when I talked about it last week, the article that I was referencing didn't really do a good job of explaining what the real issue was. So it turns out, and this article did a better job today, that they were just lending out books, digital books that they did not purchase. Yeah, there's a problem with that. This all could have been avoided. They could have talked to publishers to make some kind of agreement or deal. They didn't do that. Makes sense to me. If you're going to be lending out things like a library, you should actually have to purchase the digital copy if you're going to lend out the digital copy. Just because you buy the book doesn't mean that you can have as many copies of it as you like. That's not really how it works. I'm very pro-library, and I'm probably pro-pirate too. So just because the Internet Archive did not find the ruling in their favor, this is for something that's already over. This was only for during the lockdowns. They had an emergency loaning thing, and they're not doing it anymore. So probably not that big a deal. But I just wanted to give you the update on that. And now let's talk about politics in California. Okay. Khanna, Barbara Lee. Khanna has announced that he will not run for Senate in 2022 and has instead endorsed Representative Barbara Lee's campaign to replace retiring Senator Dianne Feinstein. Khanna stated that he believes the most exciting place for him to serve as a progressive is in the House of Representatives. He praised Lee, who announced a bid for Feinstein's Senate seat last month, as a strong anti-war senator and a unique voice. Lee is one of 3 Democratic California representatives running for Senate, along with Adam Schiff and Katie Porter. Now, here's the issue that I have. I think of all the Democrats, there's things about Khanna that I appreciate. He has said positive things about the Twitter files and government's role in suppressing the voice of Americans is not a good thing. He's come out on the right side of that, unlike, I would say, most Democrats. So I have seen some good things. In this article, though, Khanna, he says Lee, that she's a strong anti-war senator. She'd be a strong anti-war senator and a unique voice. And he says this. Listen, this is what he says. He says, "We don't have a single African-American woman in the U.S. Senate. She would fill that role. She'll be the only candidate from Northern California, and she's going to, I think, consolidate a lot of progressives. The other 2 are formidable candidates, but I think Barbara is going to be very, very strong." This is sad that you are choosing who you are supporting based on the color of their skin and their sex. That's pretty racist. That's pretty bad. Boo. Thumbs down, Khanna. You can say some nice things about Barbara Lee without making a big deal about her identity, Because if her identity is the important thing, then who cares? Like that I want a quality senator. I want a senator that will represent the people. And when you make the claim that they're a strong anti-war, you can't really make that claim if she has supported every single thing for this Ukrainian conflict. If you support the every single thing that's come through about this Ukraine conflict, I can't call you strong anti-war, because you're not. You're not anti-war if you are supporting sending these tens of billions of dollars for this conflict in Europe. So don't try to gaslight me, Ro. Sad. Disappointed. Let's just say I am disappointed by this announcement, and I'll just leave it at that. But I'm not in California, and I'm not a Democrat, so I guess it doesn't really affect me for who I'm voting for. I'll just say that it's sad. That's sad, Ro. Dating culture has shifted since Trump's election, with women considering politics more when deciding who to date, says the article. Being less likely to date across the political aisle and approaching dating cautiously. So a YouGov Economist poll found that 86% of Americans think political divisions have become a bigger obstacle in pursuing relationships. Women and Democrats are less willing to date someone with different political views because they're more tolerant, you see. The rise of left-leaning identification among young women and major political developments such as Trump's election and the Me Too movement are cited as reasons for the change in dating culture. Opposing political views, particularly supporters of Trump, have become deal breakers for many daters. Young women are more likely to search for romantic partners in their friendship circles. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. It is interesting that the more tolerant, supposedly, right, the tolerant left are the most likely to not tolerate any other point of view. It's a little ironic, isn't it? I understand that values are important. What I've found with most people and their politics, most people haven't given it a whole lot of thought. They really haven't. They haven't examined it themselves. They've been assigned their position when they were a kid. Most people, I think. They find out when they're in elementary school, oh, my folks are Democrats, I'm a Democrat, or my folks are conservative, I'm a Republican, whatever it happens to be. Most people don't change their view on it. Most people don't even look into it. So if someone is passionate about something, I kind of respect that a lot more than people that just accept, these are my politics. And you ask why? They don't know. And they will revert back to a straw man. Right? See the theme today? They will revert back to a straw man. They will talk about how evil the other side is. And the amount of just smearing of, I will say, the right that has been done in the last couple of years is, in my opinion, disgusting. Just absolutely vile, in my opinion. And Joe Biden and his administration keep pushing it. They keep pushing this line, MAGA Republicans, MAGA Republicans. So essentially saying, people that voted for Trump, and we know racist, bigot, xenophobe, all that. That's what is being pushed all the time. I don't think it is a message that unifies the country, which is kind of what I would like out of a leader, someone that would try to bring people together and not separate them. But when it comes to dating, I've seen that on the apps. You know, if you voted for Trump, swipe left, you know. You never hear anyone ask, well, why did you vote for Trump? They don't care. They don't care. Because they have this straw man version of what the opposition is. And they'd kind of hate to have their whole world wrecked if they found out the truth. If they found out that most people on both sides are fine people. Most people in the country, I think, are good people. No matter what your politics. I think most people try to be good, try to do what's best for themselves and look out for their families. I think most people are good. But if you straw man the other side, that's what happens, is you end up with a whole bunch of people that aren't dating because they've been written off based on a straw man, most likely. So that's my take on that. If you had any experience with that, let me know in the comments. And now, let's get to a little good news. That is with Pickleball. Central Park is going to get a giant pickleball venue this summer. Starting April 7th, City Pickle, New York City's first pickleball club, will set up 14 courts for daily play at Woolman Rink in Central Park. Pickleball is a combination of tennis, badminton, and ping pong, and is the nation's fastest growing new sport. The courts will be open every day, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily until October, and fans can rent custom City Pickle paddles or bring their own. There's going to be pickleball lessons, clinics, coaches, leagues, and tournaments available. City Pickle's goal is to bring pickleball to as many New Yorkers as possible. Well, I have talked about pickleball before. I've never played it. And I suppose we've got a number of people watching right now. And so I am just going to say I'm committing. I want you to ask me about it tomorrow. But I think tonight I'm going to go try pickleball for the first time. And I've wanted to do this for a long time, haven't done it. So maybe me just saying it into the internet here, maybe that will be the thing, the little push that I need to try it out. At a community center where I work, they have pickleball Monday nights. And so I'm going to go give it a shot, see what it's like. And I'll let you know in a future show. I'll let you know tomorrow, if I remember, to tell you how it was. I think it looks like a lot of fun. And the nice thing about it is it's not too taxing, you know, with these like big wiffle balls that they use. If you miss it, it doesn't go that far. And because it has all the holes in it, no matter how hard you smash it, it's going to slow down before it hits somebody's face. So I think both of those are positive things about pickleball. I did the story just so that I could say to you that I want to try it tonight and hopefully hold me accountable. Ask me how pickleball was tomorrow. So, yes, I'm being very self-centered, I guess, with this choice of story. But it is what it is. Have you ever played? Got any tips for me? Let me know in the comments. That's all I have for you today. Stick around the after show. I will go through all of your comments. And, yeah, that's it. If you've made it this far, hit the like button. I appreciate you hitting the like button. And if you're watching this over on Rumble, can you hit the like button and leave a comment? I'm getting lots of people watching the videos now, but nobody's leaving any comments whatsoever. So if you could do that, I would appreciate you for helping me out with that. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you in the after show. Until then, peace. All right, so we do have Duggo42 and Tobias is here over on Rumble. Thanks for checking in, guys. I appreciate that. Like I say, if you are watching the replay later, please leave a comment and hit that like button if you're over there on Rumble. I'm trying to get more into the Rumble scene, if you will. Let's see. Got lots of comments over here on YouTube. Love it. I did post this thing last night. And Lucid Moments of Reality 5150 says, I got here 7 hours early to beat Apothecary John in the comments. So that's funny. Flames in the chat. Nice to see everyone. We got Flames and Coffee and Tiki Masks in the chat. People are ready. Okay, let's go. Howdy, y'all. Howdy, everybody. Speaking of y'all, it was really nice this weekend. I got to see my favorite band, has been my favorite band for at least 25 years. The Old 97s played here in Portland, and I got to go Saturday night to that show. They're from Dallas, and so when I lived in Dallas, I had a little bit more of an accent, and I said y'all a bit more. All y'all. There's y'all and all y'all. Had a bit more of an accent when I lived in Texas, but I got to kind of relive that this weekend. That was nice. Let's see. So we Jinx, we sipped coffee at the same time. Well, that happens sometimes. So you want to take away Strawman's right to exist, Tom? That is a perfect Strawman right there. Tom is strawphobic. Oh, that's great. I promise to try, but information gets harder and harder to find, especially true information and facts. It absolutely it is. One thing that I've noticed though is often we're in such a bubble that we don't even realize someone else will make a straw man and we just go with it as though it's the real thing. If you're going to make a straw man, at least know that it's a straw man, okay? Just at least know that it is. Shoot, if I weren't in Texas, Florida is where I would want to live. Tennessee second, says Natasha. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Too many people are in Florida for me. I need less people. Yeah, but I really liked my time when I lived in Texas. I really enjoyed it there. Too hot and humid for me, says Miranda. Doug Christopher is giving a thumbs up and a smiley face. I appreciate that. But I date 80s Sonny Crockett. Oh, that's a good reference. I had one of those jackets back in the day. They were fun. They were fun. Those cotton blazers that you could roll the sleeves up on. When I was in Europe, I had one of those Miami Vice blazers, and I would roll the sleeves up, and that's what I would use when I would hitchhike. I would just go out to the freeway and hitchhike, but I'd have a T-shirt and whatever on, but I would put on this little cotton blazer, roll up the sleeves, and just look a little bit more presentable, and that's a way to get rides. So that's fun. Lucid Moments of Reality says, I'm not gay, and I date 80s Sonny Crockett. Yeah, Don Johnson in the 80s on Miami Vice. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm south of Nashville. Okay. Kind of muggy here sometimes. Let's see if I can. I'm having a hard time scrolling here. People say don't use Twitter. Don't straw man that joint. Let's see. Wow, I'm so close. 8 more money and I'm legit. Not sure what that is. Gentle reminder to like the stream, guys. I appreciate all the support there. Concerning blue check, I like the idea of anonymity, people are more careful about what they say. It is true. But I do think that this will be an improvement. And honestly, I think sticking it to journalists, I'm in favor of that too. All of them, every single one. So they can pay. But the thing is, I'm sure that their company would pay for it anyway. So I don't see what the big deal is. I think it's just that these journalists are going to be mad that anybody now has access to the tools that they used to have. That's it. Internet Archive is the Napster library. The Internet Archive does have lots of great stuff on it. It's hard to search through. It's not as great to search through, but it is what it is. Jody says, I thank goodness I never started Twittering. YouTube is enough addiction for this compulsive listener. Tom, concerning pirating, would you be bothered if someone used your intro outro music with paying royalties? I recall your friend gave you ownership of that. He didn't give me ownership. A friend of mine did that music, and so before he passed, he was real happy that I was using the little music that he had written and recorded. So it's not mine to give to anyone, but he'd be happy if anyone played his music. I lost respect for Barbara Lee when she campaigned for Hillary over Bernie, not really anti-war. Yeah. You're not anti-war if you're supporting every single war. And that's the thing, right? Rokana calls her anti-war, other people call her anti-war, and then everyone just hears it and go, oh, she's anti-war. Just because you say it doesn't make it true, although that's what a lot of people would want us to believe now, right? If you say something, then it's true. No, it doesn't work like that. Let's see. It was a donation, but I'd rather her than Adam Shifty. Yeah, not a big fan of Adam Schiff. I'm surprised. I don't know why Adam Schiff isn't in prison. He straight up lied to the American people about the whole impeachment thing, about the whole Russiagate thing. Straight up lied. And no consequences, really, that he had. I wouldn't date across the aisle, but I'm conservative, and I'm not sure how to define date anymore. I was going to say the same thing, Natasha. Okay, dating, ha ha ha. Seinfeld had an episode where Elaine broke up with her boyfriend over abortion politics, but liked sleeping with him 30 years ago. Seinfeld was ahead of its time, that's for sure. Does anyone consider dating a sexless activity anymore, or does it automatically imply having sex? I guess it depends on the person, I suppose. I am far anti-imperialist left, but would date a MAGA, says Miranda. That's the thing. I don't even know how. I think if people ask me my politics out in the world, I'd say, well, they're all crooks and I'm against the wars. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I'm against killing people in other lands for no good reason or stealing from them. I don't support revolutions. I don't think it's the United States business to overthrow other countries that they don't like. So that's essentially it. But I would say, I guess the big things for me politically would be, I think they're all crooks. Hashtag not all. I mean, I'm sure one or two aren't crooks. Don't know any offhand, but I'm sure they exist. For the most part, I'm against most war most of the time, right? And I do think that we're the richest country in the world, and we should probably come up with some way to cover everyone medically. You know, I'm not saying it has to be free, but you know, the richest country in the world, we should be able to figure that out. That's it. That's all I'm saying. We should be able to figure it out. And those are probably my biggest political beliefs. Tom, can you explain Steelman argument? I'll give you a quick one, but I will. I could do a whole video on the Steelman, but to explain it, what it is when you're arguing or discussing something, rather than represent the other person's point of view as weak, right? You want to represent the strongest argument that they have, and then argue against their strongest argument. That's really good, especially if, let's say you're arguing with someone, they got a list of like 50 things they hate about somebody, or they don't like somebody, like a whole laundry list of things. You can easily start going through and knocking off like the silly things that they've said, like the Strawman one. No, that's not real. That's not real. The Steelman is to pick the strongest argument against your case and explain that, and then explain why that's wrong. Because if you can do that, that's very persuasive. And it's a lot more honest. It's a lot more honest. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I'll probably do something like that later. Do you use Discord, Tom? Discord is good. Free way to help build a community. Your fans can speak with one another, share ideas for the channel, and the like. I have an account on Discord. I haven't used it a whole lot, but if you think that it is a thing, I will look into it this week, and perhaps we can put up a Discord where people can share ideas for stories and things like that. That's not a bad idea. I appreciate that, John. And lastly, you have very sound fundamentals, Tom. We see things pretty similarly. Well, that's good, because as you know, I have all the right opinions. And so if you share most of them with me, then most of the time you're going to be right. And that's sarcasm. It's funny. I don't even agree with myself from a year ago. I do change my mind on things. When I get more information and learn more things, I change my mind. I'm real open to that, but I kind of get a kick out of that. I get a kick out of finding out I was wrong. And I know that that's a bit unusual. So, but I'm glad to hear that. Different daffodil today. Yes, this one I got from my backyard. Not quite as yellow as the ones from the front yard. But I'll probably pick a couple more daffodil for tomorrow's show. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I have. Let me just double check and see. I think that's it. But I will look into Discord, and if I do, I will obviously tell you all about it. Yeah, number one, admit that you don't know. Yeah, there's a lot I don't know, and there's a lot everybody doesn't know, and it's a lot easier if you just admit it. All right, that's it. So anyway, that's the after show. That's all I got for you all today. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. And I will see you mañana with more good stuff. Until then, peace.